Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the recap and review of NCIS Season 10, Episode 22, Revenge. This episode was not at all what I was expecting. Basically, take what I was expecting and take the opposite of that, and that is this episode. It also seemed to get a lot of mixed reactions from the fans as it was airing, but in the end, people seemed to like it or think that it was at least okay. For me, I think it was another one of those episodes that you don't really appreciate till it's over. But without further ado, here is the recap and review of Revenge. So we start out where Berlin left off, and we see the car crash, and guess what? It's still just as painful the 15th time around. So we get the car crash. They're all there, just kind of sprawled out along the car. Suddenly, Ziva's awake and moving around, and you guys were just in the car crash of ultimate doom. I don't think you're going to be able to start moving around this quickly. So it turns out Bodner was the one behind the wheel, evil Bodner in his green SUV. Comes up, steals the diamonds, Ziva tries to get him, but she has a dislocated shoulder, and somehow she still manages to get out her gun and shoot him. I'm about to go all Dr. Mallard on you for like 10 seconds. I don't know how many of you have ever had a dislocated shoulder. I have had a subluxated shoulder twice. A subluxation is a partial dislocation. Dislocation, your shoulder comes out completely and you have to have someone put it back in. Subluxation, it comes out part of the way and it slides back in on its own. When I subluxated my shoulder, it hurt so unbelievably bad. When I was watching these scenes, the scene with her trying to get the gun and some of the scenes later on, I was about to vomit. Like, how are you doing this? I could not even hold a pencil. What are you doing? This is so bad. I cannot even imagine the pain Ziva would have been in these situations. Post theme song, we get to the hospital, and everyone is surprisingly okay. I think everyone expected them to be in the hospital for more than 2 seconds. I expected at least one of them to stay in the hospital for maybe half the episode. I did not expect, like, oh, broke my nose, oh, shoulder sling. Like, what? Your car was just devoured. If this were real life, I don't think it would have turned out the same way. P.S. They were just in this horrific car crash, and they come out looking like models. Like, my god. Next scene, everyone goes to this house and blows things up, and that's basically what this scene is. Them going and blowing stuff up. So we come inside, and we find out that the man they killed was not Bodner. Would have never figured that one out on my own. Now he's like filthy stinking rich because of the diamonds they got from Berlin. Bodner, why I oughta. Back at NCIS, Tony makes a comment wondering if Nurse Ratchet realized they snuck out yet. 2 things. One, between the use of the word ratchet and his what with the lederhosen in Berlin, I think Tony is turning into a gangster. Season 10, while Ziva is evolving into various woodland creatures, Tony is evolving into a straight-up gangsta. 2, you are really not supposed to sneak out of hospitals. I do not think it is that easy to sneak out of hospitals. If you are there, there is usually a reason behind it. This team has been breaking so many rules lately. It is really, really bad. If this were real life, Ziva would probably never have proper use of her shoulder again, but why would we apply real-life medical rules? The team probably wouldn't follow them anyway. So then she takes off her shoulder sling because that's a fantastic idea. And there's this little thing where Tony checks his messages and he makes Ziva turn around, and wife Ziva is not very thrilled about that. And then Tony gets a message and it's about his horrible luck with cars, which is almost as horrible as his luck with women. But we do get some nice references to the past NCIS episodes with some Kate episodes and some La Grande Nuit shenanigans. So that was great. So Tom Morrow is also back, and we're getting so much more Tom Morrow than I originally expected. I'm not saying I dislike him, but I'm saying he's headed up to here with NCIS, and that is not a good thing. So Tom Morrow is basically like, lay off or things are gonna get real. Then we get this sensational scene in which Ziva goes boxing, and it's so telling about her character because she has a dislocated shoulder. She shouldn't be able to move. And meanwhile, she's punching and she's really going at it, and you can see how much pain she's in. And there's a quote that she says earlier, and she says it only hurts if you let it. And they brush right by it, but it's such an important quote to her character. It really lets us into her psyche and tells us who she is. You know, it only hurts if you let it. This scene was just phenomenal acting. There was no words spoken, and they didn't need to be spoken. Everything that needed to be said was conveyed very clearly through her actions. Later on, we get another scene in the bullpen where they're talking about the diamonds, and Abby asks about Berlin. And Tony gives Ziva this little smile wink thing, and she totally shuts him down. No response whatsoever. And she's really sassy to Abby, too. This scene spoke volumes in my mind, because I think Tony is under the impression that his and Ziva's relationship is going somewhere much faster than it is in Ziva's mind. In his mind, they are on the road to an actual relationship very quickly. Ziva seems to want to take it slow. She has other things on her mind, and a relationship is not her number one priority right now. So I definitely think they need to talk that out, but I did love the look so much, and I hope we get more of that, please. Anyway, we get a nice little funny exchange between Abby and the insurance agent, and it's perfect. Abby is so Abby. And she's like, I don't like your tone. And it's so perfect. It's so Abby. I love it. Ziva gets another video call from Bodner, and they are very vicious to one another. They're just very different people with very similar backgrounds. So I'm very curious to know where they kind of split paths. We get some pretty great bullpen scenes in this episode, and another one was after McGee drove into Nozo. We get a nice little McNozo line. And Ziva's like, you should be thankful. And she doesn't even baby Tony. She just kind of says it as it is, speaks her mind. And poor little puppy Denozo asks her for a ride, and she laughs at him. And she's like, why would I want to start my mornings with you? And he gets very sad, because that is a very non-girlfriend statement she just made. And he sees her knuckles and he grabs her hand, because apparently they're openly touching hands now. But hey, I'm not complaining. He's like, where'd you get that? That's not from the crash. And she says, I'm fine, for like the 1500th time this season. I don't really think he would have let it go if Gibbs hadn't walked in. So Ziva's kind of saved by the Gibbs in this scene. We also find out that the dead agent, the one they found blown up, who was obviously not Bodner, and Bodner had all known each other. And it's strange, but I'm okay with it. I want to see more of the storyline surfacing. So McGee stays to analyze the video, everyone else heads home. Then we get the scene from every single fan fiction you will ever read. It is the Rule Number 12 speech. By the way, what in the world is Gibbs making? There were spoilers that said something about a crib. I have my own theories on that, which I will touch on later, but whatever it is, it's a mystery and I cannot wait to figure it out. So Tony comes down with a plunger, and this was a plunger that he borrowed when he went to talk to him about EJ. It's like an English class. Like, this plunger is now a symbol. The seeds represent life, the pig head represents evil, and the plunger represents Rule Number 12. So Gibbs definitely knows something is up, and they're about to get further into it, and then McGee calls. Well, at least it wasn't another truck. So they go in, find out the video was faked, and this video that they're saying has had all these thousands of views over the last couple days. It looks like a pretty boring video to be getting all these views. Like, in what universe is this video going viral? It was a dog and a frisbee. So they find out the video is faked. Vance has to tell Tom Morrow, who is going to be very, very angry. Things are not good between NCIS and Tom. So it turns out this guy has had a ton of plastic surgery, which leads us into a scene where there's a lot of... yeah. Denozo gets to have his playtime. There's nothing else to say about this scene, really. And it's only fair, since I already poked fun at Gibbs's ancient computers, that I comment on Jimmy's phone. His little circa 2008 teenage boy phone. And I don't even know how this thing is compatible with apps. I really don't think it would be, but again, it's just another rule that the team just disregards. Jimmy also makes a comment about a honeymoon and how he never got to go on one, and I really think in the finale we're gonna find out Brina's pregnant or something like that. I could very well be wrong, but I have a sneaking suspicion Jimmy and Brina are gonna be parental units. Babies? Hopefully. Then we get this scene where they're going up to Vance, and Ziva sneaks off with a firecracker in her trunk. My god. So she sets a dock on fire. Someone bring in Alicia Keys because let's just watch my reaction.
Oh my god. This is such a bad idea. This is such a horrific idea. Can we... he's gonna die. He's gonna die. No, their partner's gonna be dead. Called it. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no.
This scene was definitely not what I was expecting. I did not expect Bodner to die quite yet. The fighting scene was so intense. I loved it. Mad props to Cody and Oded Fair, who both did incredible stunt work. Shout out to the stunt team and stunt coordinator and everyone who worked so long on this scene. It was amazing. The viewers definitely loved it. I love it, and I admire everyone who worked on it so much. Side note, Cody is definitely one of my big inspirations, and her dedication throughout this entire episode just amazed me, and her acting skills, and I love her so much. So this fight scene is intense, and I guess it teaches you not to mess with Ziva David because Bodner did, and now he's lying on the cold hard ground. Trouble. See, the thing is, if the team had been a few seconds sooner, they could have maybe captured him. They could have gotten more answers, like who killed Eli's Iranian friend, and just what was going on, but now he's dead, and so are his answers and his secrets. Now NCIS is in hot water with Homeland, with the FBI, with Mossad. It's basically 12 angry agencies. So that's gonna be a problem. That's definitely gonna lead us into the final 2 episodes, which are gonna be really intense. The final scene was not much of a cliffhanger. It was just, is it over? It's over. Ziva looked like a sad little puppy. Vance got his closure. Ziva does not look like she did. Foof. That was revenge. Definitely have so much respect for everyone who was in this episode. They all worked incredibly hard. I thought it turned out very well. It was very similar to season 3, which a lot of people noted as we were watching it. I did not find a problem with that. I thought it was very well done, and even though it was not what I was expecting, I did like it. And so I am very pumped up for Double Blind. I cannot wait, and I will see you guys for the spoilers and theories for Double Blind. And they come out looking like models. Like, my god. Then we get this sensational scene with the plunger, which had been... That's a giant spider. Holy mother. Oh, that's a spider. A ginormous spider. Here's a giant tin of baseballs. Where did you go? Whew. Now I'm freaked out.